Hello, Sideliners, and welcome back to another episode of Sideline Tea. We're your hosts, Brittany, Jennifer, and Mary, here to spill the tea with our former nemesis turned favorite beat writer, Omar Kelly, sports columnist with the Miami Herald, and relentlessly dedicated to covering the Miami Dolphins. Whether you've seen him on shows, listened to him on the radio, or read his articles, Omar Kelly brings a wealth of knowledge with his 25 years of sports media experience. So grab your favorite beverage, sit back, relax, and let's spill some tea.
What is the next step like for journalism, for what you do? What is like the top? Like what everybody's trying to reach? Is it, do people go into journalism because they want to make it to the TV and they want to do that, or is it, you know what I mean? Is that where
This generation, it's funny you asked that question because this generation does. This generation grew up with ESPN. I did not. I
you grew up
grew
with
up
radio?
where, huh?
You grew up with radio.
Yeah.
And your
Uh,
no, our local
I
like
grew up with local writers.
local
I grew up
sports.
with,
Yeah,
I think I aged you a
yeah.
bit.
I grew up.
Okay.
I grew up with writing was the
I think
pinnacle
we're
for
the
me.
same age.
Yeah. I'm 47. You're not 47. There's no way you're 47.
I'm in my
Um,
but it's about to be over in August.
wow, you do not look that age.
Thanks, Omar. Thanks, Omar.
I wouldn't have put you a day over 35. So,
See,
Aw,
favorite.
It just makes you feel bad for being mean to him.
It really does.
Listen, what was I saying? The pinnacle of
What is it
our
that,
business.
like, do you have aspirations to go high? Like what is your pinnacle? What's at the top? And maybe you could cut this out if you don't want to share that.
No.
What is it that
Our industry has changed so much drastically, and I'm not just talking about sports journalism, but all of journalism. When I left the Sun Sentinel to go run I Am Athlete, that was a dream job, a dream situation that just turned out horribly because the person that was running it or in charge of it was crazy and basically self-destructed one of the world's best podcasts
It sucked.
single-handedly by himself.
It was
Brandon
awesome.
But
Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
But that's
still a podcast, is it not?
He
No?
does it by himself. He had,
Right.
but I haven't.
I don't think he even does it by himself.
You know what?
He came out last year. I mean, last season he had one with Tyreek. I remember watching
last fall. Mary, that's what I was just going to say. The last one that I remember watching was that one where he's
him
on the
sitting
floor,
down with Tyreek Hill.
on the floor with Tyreek
On the floor. Yeah, and that's why and when Tyreek said I'm
It was
retiring as a Miami
October
Dolphin.
of last year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
What was
I
I Am
mean-
Athlete supposed to be?
the pivot.
Yeah, exactly.
The pivot
So I don't
basically.
know I've heard Channing, because I listen to 560 all the time. I've heard Channing talk about it, but I don't know the
Yeah.
background. So Brandon Marshall was supposed to be a part of the pivot, which a part
No,
of
they were all I Am Athlete.
I
And
Am
I Am
Athlete.
Athlete took off. I Am Athlete took off during the
COVID.
what do we call that?
COVID. Is it COVID?
COVID. During
Yeah.
How did
COVID.
you forget COVID,
Um,
man?
Yeah. I Am Athlete. They all started a podcast. Brandon Marshall, Channing Crowder, Chad Ochocinco. It was
Right.
really Reggie Wayne, and Chad Ochocinco replaced Reggie Wayne, and then Brandon Marshall.
What about Fred?
They all Fred Taylor.
Mhm.
Taylor. Yeah. Did I say Brandon Marshall, Chad,
Channing and Fred.
Channing, and Fred Taylor? Yes, they all started a podcast together. Took off like gangbang. I mean, wildfire. Just tremendous amount of success. Was a great representation of the culture. Did phenomenal interviews, and the chemistry was there. What happened was business was bad. Brandon was I got to watch myself and what I say for litigation purposes. Brandon basically self-sabotaged his own podcast.
I mean, can I look this up online and get what you don't want to say? Okay.
Yeah.
You can look up anything you want because it's all there.
Okay.
And the pivot people have addressed it.
Right.
The pivot people basically picked
They
themselves
pivoted
up.
and pivoted.
They pivoted.
Exactly
yes.
what happened.
Removed themselves from Brandon, who was the problem, and I will agree he was the problem, and started their own podcast. And then I was hired to try to fix a lot of the things that were.
So you were hired after the pivot had pivoted. You were hired to fix Marshall's mess.
And then I realized he didn't really want to fix his mess because he is the mess. There isn't a mess.
And he
There
hasn't
isn't a
recognized
mess
that
to
maybe he's
fix.
the mess.
Huh?
And he probably hasn't recognized that he's the mess.
He knows he's the mess. He just
Oh.
won't take ownership.
What's stopping you from like opening up IMO? Is it because it's under like legal stuff, legal battles? That
I
you
have,
can't?
I have, we started all Dolphins. That did well. I personally needed a little bit more stability, which is why I'm at the Herald right now. Because
Mhm.
when you're doing a podcast and you own, or you don't have to answer to anybody, but all the proceeds go to you and your partner. You're sort of your success is determined on the team success and the fan support.
Mhm.
So when the Dolphins were winning, we were. When they started losing in December, we were like, and it was,
I'm sure
and
Hard Knocks had the same with their viewership too.
Yeah.
So
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh.
the end of the season, yeah,
People
nobody wanted to watch
boycotted at the end of the season. Are you kidding?
Yeah, I mean, even our fans were
it.
like,
Yeah,
"No, I'm not
no.
watching."
Fan base was like, yeah, I'm not watching that. I can't. I
Mhm.
can't.
Yeah,
And I agree.
I watched it.
I lived it, so I didn't
Psycho.
really necessarily want to relive
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
A lot of players didn't want to relive it.
I can
I
see
love
that.
hurting myself. I love hurting myself, so I watched it right when
I
it came
watched
out.
that. I watched
You're
that
a
shit.
masochist?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I'm joking, obviously, but
I watched it. Of course I did.
I just wanted to know like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. Like, I'm hurt. Are you guys as hurt as I am right
Yeah.
now? You know,
They're probably hurt a little bit more.
probably way more, way more.
I don't think a lot of fans think they hurt. It's so sad what happened to them at the end of the year.
Oh, it was
but
awful.
What happened to them at the end of the Titans season? I mean, at the end of the Titans game.
That's
What was that? What
Just
was that? That's where it changed.
yeah,
that's where everything changed.
I don't know if it changed, but one, you
That's-
got to factor in you lost Connor Williams. Connor Williams was a top 5 player on the team.
Mhm.
Like Connor
We
Williams.
lost Connor way earlier though.
No, but he came back.
Yeah, and then he
lost
got
him
hurt
to
again.
And then he got hurt again. Yeah.
You lost him again to the ACL in the
Mhm.
Titans game. And you're a different team when you don't have Connor Williams. Like
Yeah.
Connor Williams was a top 5 performer on the team last year. He was the best offensive lineman. He was a catalyst behind the run game. And while the run game was still good, it wasn't the same. Then you got Raheem being sidelined. It wasn't that game, but
And then Tyreek got hurt that
Tyreek
game.
with the
was it that game that Tyreek got
Yes,
hurt?
it
Tennessee?
was.
The hip drop tackle.
Because there's a little.
Yeah, it's and then injuries watered down the talent level of the team to the point where you got no pass rushers, no inside linebacker, no Javon Holland. Your X from
Do
Baltimore.
they know what I'm saying? Is do the players know what, like, that late into the season? They all like to say, "Oh, I'm not really paying attention to what's happening in the playoffs." Do they? Is that just to say, or are they knowing that game really changed the trajectory?
It changed everything. It changed everything.
I
We
don't know
may
if
have
it
had
changed
a
everything.
playoff win.
It made it harder. You win that game, and your AFC. I think you would have won the AFC.
Yes.
We
No,
would have.
Baltimore. It would have been
You
would
just
have
Baltimore.
made your road a lot harder.
We were still in the hunt. Yeah, we were still in the number one
division.
seed, but we would have won our division.
Division.
Yeah,
And then we
division.
also
that was
we
the
also
important thing. You needed to win the division. You needed to get the home game.
yeah.
They lost it, but they still had a chance to win it against Buffalo. You guys
They
know how to
blew it.
But we could have rested.
blew
Had we
it.
won that Tennessee game, we could have rested week 18, and we needed that rest.
You did.
And then we play Pittsburgh at home. Like, we probably win that game
Maybe. But you still
after coming
never-
off of like a rest, you know?
even at full strength, and I say this and I hope you guys get it, even at full strength, just evaluating that team, and keep in mind they weren't at full strength by the end of the season, you're still not beating Baltimore. No matter what you do, you weren't going to beat Baltimore. Baltimore showed you how much dominant they were than you.
If we didn't have any of the injuries, are you saying?
I don't think I think
Like
you
if
were
we had our full roster fully healthy, you don't think we could have beaten?
Not that day, I don't think, at least. And like how Baltimore was
not
rolling
that
at
day
the time.
on their turf.
Yep. And the way they were
Lamar Jackson knowing winner take all MVP AFC, like you just weren't ready for that moment.
That game was embarrassing.
I
That game
mean,
was
It was
so
so
embarrassing. I didn't even. I don't even think I finished it. Like I started doing house chores with it
It was
playing, and I
so
just.
embarrassing.
I'd
and
walk
then
in, see the score, and be like, "Oh my god."
okay, you're not beating Patrick Mahomes. I don't think anybody's beating Patrick Mahomes.
I can agree with you on that,
It's
but I think that we should have
Oh,
and
In
had
Germany.
the right
in
call
Germany,
in Germany.
I totally
We win that game in Germany. Had that
Had Tyreek not
first
dropped
off,
that or fumbled
even
it.
if we don't, if even if we allow Tyreek to drop the ball, but had that ref made the forward progression call, we still win that game.
yeah, you give Patrick Mahomes the ball and 2 minutes left, it's over.
Yeah.
Like it's no matter what he's got to do.
And that's our issue right there. We got to keep him sidelined, and we couldn't.
Yep.
True. So to me, there are three teams that you can't beat. I don't know if Buffalo's still that team, but you can't beat Baltimore, you can't beat Kansas City, and you
Do you
probably
feel
can't beat
that same
Buffalo.
this year? Do you feel that same this year? Or is it just you don't know yet because you haven't seen?
I don't know yet because you got to see like for instance, have Miami fixed the offensive line?
Don't
Are we
tell
sure?
me.
No.
No,
Yeah, I don't know.
no.
I don't know.
I'm
Well,
Omar, make them fix it.
I can.
They
I
won't.
can. And I understand they've explained it to me so thoroughly.
They have?
They're banking on player development.
Okay, so Omar, I ask you then, what are we doing when Wynn gets injured? Because he's never played a season. He's never finished his.
I think he's finished one season.
He has
You're
finished
right.
one season. It's
Okay,
one.
all the other seasons he's ended up on IR. All the other ones. That's
Or
why
been-
we got him. He's
or been
so
benched.
amazing. He's so amazing. He's so amazing, but we're not going to get him all season. I'd rather have him at the later half. But what are we doing? We haven't even addressed that. Lester Cotton, is that our answer?
No, Robert Jones. Jack Driscoll. I think Jack Driscoll and Liam might.
But he's going right guard.
Yes, but you're right. And then Liam could probably play left guard. Yes, they're banking on young player development. Do I think that that's the right approach? No, but they clearly say, and this comes from a Chris Forrester mentality, which understand that your head coach, Mike McDaniel, you know who he learned most of his stuff from? Not Kyle Shanahan, but Chris Forrester.
Right.
And I know he's got a troublesome history here in Miami and South Florida, but Mike McDaniel worked his way up the NFL ranks and gained respect, learning how to be a run game specialist from Chris Forrester. That's the guy. He said it many times. This was in the Washington staff. He's like, we got all these gurus, all these guys who went on to become former head coaches. They were offensive masterminds. They were quarterback geniuses. And then there was me. I needed to find a way to create my own lane. And he went and he learned from Chris Forrester and he created a lane for himself there. Chris Forrester is a great mind and probably the greatest offensive line coach in the NFL. They believe, go put the money in the athletes, the people who score touchdowns. I will chisel out and develop an offensive lineman and make him a good player.
But what do we do? Because
Put the money in the flash.
like that's exactly what happened with us last year. We had Devon Achane, we had Raheem Mostert, we had the things, but our offensive line prevented us from being able to do a lot of things. I did a spreadsheet and everything. We lost Connor, we slowly started digressing, becoming lower. We lose Wynn, we never had another incredible. Our run game was very, very bad.
Yeah.
What are we?
It wasn't very, very bad. You still finished as the number one rushing team in the NFL. Like,
towards the last few weeks, I don't know,
I think the Broncos
17,
game
the
really,
Titans game, we haven't been from then on. We were
numbers.
Yeah, I mean, you still finished averaging 5 yards per carry. You still let me look at the game.
What was our rushing stats towards the end of the season?
I'll tell you right now. You're gonna make me look it up.
Mrs.
I have it.
Crippen.
I'm gonna pull it.
Mrs. Crippen is
Yeah.
giving us a mean versus median objection to this argument.
You're bringing the math in.
Yes.
Okay. Where are we stop? Are we looking at Tennessee?
Hold on. I'm gonna pull up the O line.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? Rushing yards right here. I'm gonna highlight this. Oops.
Mm-hmm.
So Titans, we had 158 rushing yards, 77 91,
They had 154,
154,
108.
108, 76.
What were the touchdowns? Does it show you what touchdowns? TDs, pass, rush.
Touchdown.
Okay,
Yeah.
it doesn't tell you what.
Yeah. So these are
Okay.
touchdowns. For passing is
Oh.
first, rushing is second. Let me double
Rushing.
check. Yeah, rushing is second. So Titans, we had 2 rushing touchdowns.
Jets,
1,
2 rushing
2.
touchdowns. Cowboys, nothing. And then nothing, and then 1 against Buffalo. Ravens, you just got your face kicked
That
in.
was just
Yeah.
like throw that out.
Yeah.
Just throw that out. It was
that was an MVP winner take all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson showed you I'm the MVP. Not
Yeah.
Which is shocking because then look at him when they played the Chiefs.
I mean, it's
Patrick
the
Mahomes.
Chiefs. It's the Chiefs.
Mhm.
Like if you put, and I hate when people do that to Lamar Jackson. Like, tell me Patrick Mahomes isn't the best player in the NFL and might be the greatest of all time by the time his career is over. Let's say he plays till 40.
She wants Tom Brady holding that title.
Tom Brady is going to hold the title till Patrick Mahomes gets to 6. Like
7.
all he's got to do is match it.
No.
Um,
No. Brady has 7 rings, sir. 6 in
7?
New England. 6 in New England. 1 in Tampa.
Yeah.
Mhm.
7
Yeah.
rings. Okay,
But it's just a matter of him staying healthy long enough to be able to even try to reach that, right? And if he can, then
And Andy Reid. I mean,
Right.
people don't put the respect on what they've got. They've got a
Mhm.
Hall of Fame quarterback, a Hall of Fame tight end, and these are all first ballots, by the way. A
yes.
Hall of Fame head coach, a Hall of Fame defensive tackle.
Yep.
Like, show me another team with 4 Hall of Famers on it.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I agree.
and those guys set the tone for your entire organization, and especially the head coach. But Andy Reid isn't going to be coaching forever, so maybe there's a drop off when Andy Reid leaves, but you never know.
He's amazing. Like he's amazing.
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes, and Andy Reid, everyone you mentioned. So he absolutely has a shot. Like his talent wise, I get it. It's just a matter of the way he plays. Does he give himself the opportunity to be healthy enough for that long to then challenge that? I think.
Who are you talking about? Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
He doesn't, and this is what I think people fail to realize. When he runs, third down, maybe, fourth quarter, maybe.
He hates it.
And
He
the
doesn't
fourth
like
quarter
running.
of the season and the playoff. That's
Right.
it.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying he's not sitting in the pocket like forever like Brady did with like a wall around,
But he can.
He
Yeah.
can.
He
He
can,
plays
and
that
he
style.
does.
He plays that style most of the season. He just breaks it out
when he has to.
Yeah,
And he can.
Playoffs, he's running. And
Yeah.
he's like, okay. And the same thing with Josh Allen. They didn't start
Um,
winning games late in the season until he started scrambling.
Yeah.
And I do not support that because it does not lead to long-term health.
Yeah.
And I'm a big believer. I don't want either of those quarterbacks to turn into Cam Newton
No.
in the fourth quarter of their career.
Yeah.
So I don't want them scrambling. Like I want them to be pocket quarterbacks, but they just unleashed the scrambling in playoffs in the fourth quarter of games. And it's like,
I
okay,
think
stop it now.
In the Super Bowl with the freaking
what happened with Josh is they fired their offensive coordinator. They got the
no
new guy
slander
in.
on
Ken Dorsey.
no slander on Ken Dorsey shall be.
I'm not.
Shall
No,
pop.
I'm not. I'm not at all. I think what he did was he realized we have an interception issue that we need to fix. Josh, you're going to run the ball now because his interceptions went down and his rushing yardage went way up.
He's not an accurate quarterback. And that's what he's not an accurate quarterback. He's never been an accurate quarterback. He can have, if he doesn't have a secure offensive line, he's going to spray the ball. They had an offensive line where every guy started all 17 games.
Every single one. How beautiful is that?
Yeah, it's amazing. They won't have that second year in a row.
Yeah.
And in fact, their offensive line got a little bit watered down by, they had to.
Well, didn't they also released the center?
Mitch Morse is
right?
gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had their own apocalypse, and and this is even before they're gonna have to give him a new deal next year. So their run and their window is closing quickly.
Do you think that we beat? Do you think that we finally beat Josh Allen and he is no longer our
Our
dad.
daddy.
Do you think he's going to be a Buffalo Bill for the rest of his career?
Oh yeah, yeah. They don't let quarterbacks go. They don't.
And
They're gonna. He's not even a top 10 paid quarterback right now. They're gonna address that next offseason and
pay him
lock
tons of
him
money.
up for a nice long time. They once you got that golden goose, you got to take care of it, which is why,
So does that
Look.
mean you think the Dolphins don't feel that they have that golden goose?
yes.
That
Did I
right
really
there.
write Daddy's home? Damn.
Listen, Omar, I'm going to tell you right now. You posted this after our Bills loss, and it was salt in the wound to me. And this tweet right here is what made me be like, oh, Omar, I'm done with you.
Oh man.
It was this tweet right here.
He's your daddy.
And I think this is where people.
But I don't
when
want
he
to
when he
hear
wants
it
to come
after
see the
we
kids,
just lost
you're
them.
gonna let him see the kids. He's like he owns this franchise. The one win you have over him, he basically ran out of gas because it was like he
was
had heat
overheated.
stroke.
Listen, I hear you, Omar, and I understand you, and I agree with everything you just said. I don't want to hear it after we just lost to them and they're celebrating the AFC East on our freaking field right
Did
now.
they really celebrate? Oh man, that was
That was the first time I ever saw them lose in person in Hard Rock, and
in Hard Rock. That was, I mean,
it was only the second time
you
that
posted that night, and I was like, I wanted to block you, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to block him because now I'm just going to be mean.
sometimes you
And that's what happened.
sometimes you have to just face reality. That was a major troll job. I own it. That was a major troll job. I own it. But then
Yeah.
I have consistently all season pointed out to people like Josh Allen's your daddy. He owns
that's
you.
true.
We know that, Omar.
Yeah.
We don't want to hear it from you.
On that night,
We have to hear it from all the Bills fans.
That's
right
true.
when season starts, all the way
No,
until
you beat him
season
twice.
ends.
You beat him twice. Charles Clay dropped a touchdown pass his rookie season. That would have won the game.
In like 18 or
no,
17?
it was his rookie season, which was
17? 18.
I can't remember.
17 or 18, yeah.
Charles Clay dropped the pass. He rallied the team from behind. His
18.
numbers are just ridiculous against the Dolphins. Like, he's the player of the week every time he plays the Dolphins. Like, it's
he has his best game against us.
Yes.
He literally, the Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills are our kryptonite. We somehow have our worst performance against the Buffalo Bills, and they somehow have their absolute best performance. And it's true. I'm not just saying that. I pulled the stats. It's literally true, and I don't understand it.
Yes.
I don't get it.
Don't worry. The tables turn. I mean, Brady.
This is our year. If
Brady
we're going to do
was
anything.
33-3 against
They're
Buffalo.
like leaning on Chase Claypool. Like, he doesn't, like, who is?
I know, but they also have Keon Coleman.
Right?
They have Keon Coleman.
Yeah, they got rookies
Collins.
and
They have.
They have
I think
Mac.
they have Dawson Knox,
Yeah.
Dalton Kincaid. Who's that other one? Shakir.
Yeah, they've got decent roster, but it's not good.
Yeah, they're going heavy on the tight ends, I think, this year.
Oh yeah. No, they got tight ends and they got running backs. So you need wide receivers.
James Cook is pretty good.
He's really
Who?
good.
Yeah, yes.
He's really good.
Amazing.
Really
Cook
good.
is
Amazing.
Cook is
They
very
need to
good.
let
What do
him
you think
cook.
Dalvin will do in
Yeah, I mean, Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel, Mac Hollins, Chase Claypool, KJ Hampler, Justin Shorter.
You can stop there because
Shakir, Khalil Shakir, Marquez Valdez Scantling, Andy Isabella. Like, come on, like,
yeah.
That's like Tua's first year, where it's like, okay,
Yeah. Well, let's see how well they do. Does Josh Allen elevate them like Tua elevated those guys?
that is correct.
Here we go. Let's see. Mary, what were you saying about Dalvin?
I was saying, how do you think he's going to do this season?
Dalvin's unemployed. He's out of work.
Yeah.
Like, he's actually here in South Florida. I saw him at a
You just put. I'm going to cut that right now. We love Dalvin. I love Dalvin.
He was just coming. He was there for the wings. That's it, or the lobster fried rice.
Actually, yeah, that is a that's affiliated with Finger Licking. Yes, very good wings at by the way.
Hey.
But yeah, I don't know if he's playing this season.
Do you think Xavien's going to get picked up soon by anybody?
Oh yeah. What do you
like? That was such a big
is it the medicals?
and now his name, like Like, is he done?
Uh,
Is it the
he
medicals that
he
has he cleared medical?
he says he has. I don't think he
How do you
has.
have what is it to clear medical?
He's got a Liz. He has a Liz Frank injury, which is the same thing that Andrew Van Ginkel has, and the same thing that Savon Ahmed has. They none of them are practicing at this point. So I'm not even sure like if I'm the Dolphins, I'm putting Savon Ahmed on PUP because I could stash him on my roster, and I got 5 backs already. Like something will happen to one of them. I could just mid-season, I could just unleash Savon. Um, and the same thing with Andrew Van Ginkel. What amazes me is that Andrew Van Ginkel
Sad.
signed his deal, passed the physical, and then is allowed to rehab. That's not going to happen for everybody. With Xavien, I think Xavien is handcuffing himself from the standpoint Xavien only wants to play for a contender, and that kind of he can go play for the Tennessee Titans if he wanted to, but or the Las Vegas Raiders, but that's not what he wants. And then also, not a lot of people know this, but Xavier has, I believe, $4 million in injury that was protected for injury in his contract. So even if he doesn't play this season, he gets $4 million from the Dolphins. So I don't know but I've heard somebody say to me and inside the league, if he doesn't play, then he's done. That they'll look at him as if he's done, and I don't
Wow.
think he wants to do that. But I think he will cherry pick his opportunities and situations, because the one thing I know about Xavier is he's tired of losing and he wants to win and he wants to have that championship run.
Did he
But
want
then
to
if you
stay with
think
Miami?
But
Did he
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Why did then if that's his mentality, he's literally saying, "I don't believe in Miami."
I don't think he's saying that. I think it's just one of those situations
he's
where there's
been
bad
here,
blood.
wants to
Yeah.
It's
change?
like Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
Like Klay Thompson was offered more money by the Warriors than he was by Dallas. He still left because the treatment, the bad blood, and I think things might have been different if he hadn't finished the season injured. But you saw the writing on the wall. They never, Greer
Do you
said
think that
one thing.
do you think Fangio drove him out too?
That's what I was gonna say. Like, was it Fangio?
No, he
That's
didn't
why
like
he wants
Fangio, but
to? Okay.
no, I don't think Fangio had anything to do with it. I think he hated the scheme. He did hate the
Because
scheme.
Jalen Ramsey, when that whole thing happened, he posted a picture and was like, still mad at the dude for not utilizing us correctly. So
No, they were pissed all year, and
Yeah.
Fangio, yeah, they were get this dude out of here. And that's a lot of people. They did not like Fangio.
You big, fat, white, nasty, smelling, fat.
I'm wondering if there
Yeah.
was a guy that he did like, maybe if he did enjoy Anthony Weaver, if he was there, the coach, if he would have been so like okay with
No,
wanting to leave.
I don't think I think Xavier liked Brian Flores. I really do. I think he really liked Brian Flores. I don't think Xavier, understand, he's the longest tenured Dolphin. He's been here since 2016. He's seen a lot. Think about it, he's seen a lot of dysfunction.
Yeah.
Here part of the
Sometimes it wears
organization.
and tears on you where you just
But
need to change.
but do
Yeah.
you think that I guess because like we've all been fans as long as, however long we have. And so we've all seen the dysfunction, but like now I don't see it that way anymore. And I really have faith
No,
in
it's
this
not.
team. And this is like the
Yeah.
most united it looks like the team has been. Is Xavier still like, no? Like, I know you
I have
guys are better and that it's not what it used to
I
be.
haven't talked to him recently, and I just think he wants a fresh start somewhere else, and he wants an opportunity to show and establish himself that, hey, I'm still that dude, I'm still that player,
Yeah.
I'm still a beast. Like nobody, there's only one player in the NFL that has more interceptions than Xavier during his time span since 2016, and that's the safety Justin Simmons.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
everybody else is trailing those two drastically.
Mhm.
I think that if something physically happened to Kendall Fuller or Jalen Ramsey, the Dolphin, yeah, I know, knock on wood. Let's not put that into the universe, but I think then the Dolphins would call Xavier and see if we can have a kumbaya situation.
Well, that's what
Um,
they should already be trying to do that, I feel.
But he doesn't want to be the kumbaya
But-
situation. He wants to be the starter.
Oh yeah. Oh, Xavier is never coming here to be a backup. No,
Yeah,
that's not.
never.
That's
No, he's
Xavier.
not going
No matter where
anywhere
he,
to be a backup.
No.
yeah, no matter where he goes, he's not being a backup. Like
Yeah.
that's out of the question. He probably retire before he'd ever be a backup. But and I think performance on the field, like it would warrant that. Like you just have to watch him perform. People haven't really seen Xavier perform because all they see is the games, and you know he wasn't even targeted much last year.
That's what I was gonna say. Like
Picked on Cater. Like
just like Tyreek Hill, him being on the field is a big enough threat.
They picked on Cater so hard.
So much.
he
Oh my
was-
I mean,
gosh.
there's Jalen Ramsey, and then there's Xavien Howard, and then there's Cater Kohu. Who are you attacking? Like
Right.
But his
who are you going?
previous season, he had such sparks of like, who's that's where Darth Cater, like, came out, and then everybody was expecting.
I think they asked him to do things.
Played
that
him
were
in the
out of
wrong
his
spot.
depth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
He
think
needs to go back
he
on the
was-
nickel.
I think he was excelled as a nickel, but then the problem that they had last year was that because they played zone, and in your nickel, you're not man covering a guy, so you got to let a guy release. You got to release a guy, and then everybody just kept running crossing routes on Miami's secondary, and like they didn't stop a crossing route all season. Like
It was
yeah, like
it was
and like even the Tennessee game, they ran a crossing route on Ramsey. He couldn't stop it. So how are we expecting with the
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins? How are we expecting Cater to stop it
Yeah.
if Jalen Ramsey can't stop it? Like it was just a defense, and I don't know what specifically they're going to run this year. Hopefully, it's a little bit more diverse than what they ran in the past, but under Vic Fangio. But yeah, Cater's got a lot to prove. That one, it starts with not having him play on the boundary. Two,
No.
it's I think everybody else plays zone. Let the slot play man. Let him play man. But then it's a whole conceptual thing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But you clearly they didn't protect Cater, and you saw what happened. I mean, you had, and that's the thing.
He got bullied.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
also part of
totally.
their frustration. It's like they knew like Dallas was going to put CeeDee Lamb on Cater.
Mhm.
Like how to fix it. Have Jalen shadow CD, and then
he wouldn't do it.
We were done with him. Yeah, they had meetings and meetings and meetings, and he refused to do it. And they were like, "Screw this dude."
Okay.
Like,
So you posted a video, and it's like my favorite GIF ever. I turned your video into a GIF. It was Jalen Ramsey in the locker room when you guys were asking him if he was going to shadow CeeDee Lamb, and he goes like that GIF, that video. I turned it into a GIF. I love it so much. Did the boys ever say enough of this shit? Like, we're just going to go out there and we're going to do it, because what are they going to do? We're in the middle of a game.
the Jets. That was not the game plan. And Fangio can say it was the game plan. They were like, "Screw you, old man. We're going to do what we want to do."
Look
and
what
then he took
happened.
credit for it. And they were like, "Oh, this dude here. Like, you can't even they lost so much respect for that guy during the season, and it was on so many different levels. Like and the funny thing is, you'd have to sit there and because they'd like put a battery in my back to go make this guy address this, make him address this, make him address this, make him address this. And I go into those press conferences and make him address it, and then he'd basically be like, "Nah, 1/3
Yeah,
of
that's not the
running my
plan.
defense. Like everybody runs my defense. I'm the originator of it. We've got." But when they went into the Baltimore game, it was like we're the fourth best defense. Like we set franchise records for sacks. Like what do you like? What more do you want? And the players just like, we could do way more than what you're allowing us to do. Like even this, with Christian, the stunts and the twists.
Wait, I'm just not supposed to say his name, but when she said, "Did they go
The
off
drinking
script?"
game.
When
When she says Christian, we all take a shot.
I know him and Zach with the stunt. Like I know that at some point, that's just
they
what
were like,
happened.
"Screw you, old man. We're gonna do what we do."
And he had to do it to get his paid.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I was being good. I shut up.
And and that's the thing. I don't think people understood. And Mike was scared of him. Mike couldn't do anything with him.
But Mike is the head coach. He could
But he's so new too as a head coach that, like, I don't know,
Yeah,
you just have your feet wet in it.
Vic came and did him a favor by taking the job.
Yeah.
And that's how it was perceived. And Vic didn't have to be here. So
He didn't. It's clearly like obvious he didn't want to be here either.
It wasn't
He
his
wanted to
first
be-
option.
he wanted to be
Right,
home.
Mary.
He wanted to be home. And
Settled for us.
as all of us,
Mhm.
supposedly he's got an aging mother
Yep.
that he needs to take care of that's home. And that just made it, that was his priority. And I can
understand that.
respect that.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
outside of that, at the exit interviews, a lot of the defensive players told Mike McDaniel, this guy's got to go.
Mhm.
And I'm talking about players with juice. They're like,
Yeah.
no.
You're talking about like the Jalen Ramseys.
Really?
Yeah.
But do
They-
any of the
they- like-
offensive players say the same? Like, do offensive players ever share their thoughts about defensive coaches, or do they just not touch that side?
That's not.
They don't even
Well, you
pay
never-
attention.
okay.
Like that, like they see each other in team meeting rooms.
Like, 'cause even like Tua on the sideline when Vic Fangio ran that, that play where that whole,
During the Bills, and he's like, yeah.
I
Wait,
don't
you
have a clue
know-
what you guys are talking about.
Okay,
What?
it was when
I was at the game. I didn't see it.
it was the Buffalo game. Look, why did I just lose?
First or second?
It was when they. What was it, Mary?
second, wasn't it? No.
It was
Oh.
the second game. It was at home. It was week 18. It was week 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were lined up like in the end zone.
All our guys were in the end zone.
All of our guys were in the end zone, and they were
Oh,
all.
but that's the one where they stopped them. They stopped them from scoring.
At the like the
At the
1
goal
yard.
line.
Because of that play, not because
It
of that.
worked.
It worked. And they did it like
It, like-
twice.
by who knows
And-
why it worked, but
And
it
that's
worked.
and that's
But it
No,
what,
I
shouldn't
know.
that's what
have.
the
That
argument
play
was a lot of
worked,
times with Vic Fangio.
We stopped them, yeah.
Yeah,
but it
Jerome
shouldn't
Baker
have
stopped
worked.
them at the line of scrimmage. And it was
Jerome-
a turnover.
Yeah.
Turnover on downs.
He
Yes,
came out
But
like
and it was
freaking-
also an illegal. It was also an illegal tackle, and that guy ended up suffering an injury from it or
Who?
concussion from it.
It's football.
Is this the
It is football. I understand it, but it technically was an illegal
Was it,
tackle.
could it have been flagged? Was it? Why
Yes, but we
Oh, and
didn't
it
get
wasn't?
flagged,
Yeah,
but we
yeah.
should have.
in that game? It was them just having their way with the defense. But that was the design of it. That is the freaking design of it. This is by design. But at the end, they freaking stop him. Is that the game where Jerome broke his wrist or his hand when he came
Yes.
Landon Roberts?
And we also lost
missile?
ABG that game.
Oh, it was awful. And then
And who else? The special teams.
I was- for
Van
the
Eagles-
for
Van
the
Eagles was out the
where they
final
s-
game?
yes.
where they
Week 18.
scored. Blew his knee out or something.
Cameron Good.
Cam-
Cameron Good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank
Blew
you.
his knee out. Then they scored. Then
Yeah,
we
they
had that
scored on
great
the
play
play.
by Christian. I was in the bathroom for it. Missed my one crowning achievement. I'm so mad.
But to Mary's question, though, because we all saw Tua's face on the Jumbotron,
I
and
didn't
it's
see
now
that.
a very popular GIF. Like we use it all the time.
Where he's
of,
like,
Tua just
"Huh?"
being like in complete
He was like-
shock of what is our defense doing right
And it
now.
was live. Like, they panned to
It-
Tua during that game, and he was
Yes.
just like, fuck.
You guys,
everybody else. I feel that.
You don't know the GIF?
No, I know
No, I
that.
don't
I
know.
know the gift, but I didn't know where it came from because I was
I
not
know
watching it on TV.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
2 questions. Your all-time favorite player to interview and your all-time least favorite player to interview.
Zach Thomas, favorite player,
Favorite.
no question about.
Mm.
He's my favorite football player in general, but he's so introspective. Just got great stories about Zach all the time. Phenomenal. It's a story I actually tell. I was on a dating scene. I was at Prime 112 for dinner, and literally on a first date with a young lady, and Zach Thomas comes up to the table and tells me, "Hey, Omar, love your work.
Aw.
I'm such
Yes.
a big fan of the things you do." And everybody in the restaurant's like looking at me like, "Who's this guy?" That Zach Thomas comes up to him. And from that night, that date went so phenomenally well.
I was gonna say, how great did that
She
date
didn't
end?
have a clue who he was, but yeah,
Really?
Oh,
yeah,
That's
she-
really cool.
oh man, that's
um,
awesome.
really cool.
that was a great moment, and Zach's just always been great. I never got to cover him because my first year was his concussion year in 2016. But I always admired him, always had a ton of respect for him. He's my favorite football player of all time, which is why I'm glad he got into the Hall of Fame this year. And you said my least favorite person to interview.
Can I guess? He's
Go
done. He's
ahead.
not here
Oh
anymore.
yeah, dead.
Jordan. Wait.
Jordan Phillips.
Yeah. Would that be your least favorite?
No.
Okay.
Jordan Phillips. I would have to. It would have to be the three people who wanted to fight me.
Yeah.
I want to fight you.
Which
Yes.
is
He came after Omar or something in camp or something.
That's a.
You deserved it.
Here's the thing. That was in the era where Gase was like, these players can't handle criticism. So I don't know what it was. I was on radio and somebody was asking me about Jordan or like players or practices and talking about how lazy Jordan Phillips is. It's true. He's just lazy. He's notoriously lazy.
I would hate it.
He got cut at the end of the year for being lazy. Obviously, he took offense to it. And that day, like before we even began practice, three coaches congratulated me for calling him out and thanked me for doing it. That practice, he had a monster practice. I mean, like throwing offensive linemen around. And he was just angry and he was just out there to show. Because apparently, I guess, and this is just a guess, like they must have brought it up in practice. I mean, in film and maybe showed it. Because he came out, he just absolutely dominant in practice. And then after practice, Gase thanked me. But then Jordan Phillips wanted to fight me.
Yeah.
So it's like that was a weird day. It is what
But that's
it is.
why constructive criticism works. Like if you don't have that, how are you supposed to get better?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do want to see Jordan Phillips and speak to him because he wins in this conversation because he's probably made about $40 million in his career being lazy. So it's clearly paid out. It's worked for him. And then Jakeem Grant wanted to fight me because I said he couldn't catch. He still couldn't catch. He couldn't catch. I'm sorry. If you struggle catching the ball, I'm not going to sit there and deny that you struggle catching the ball. Okay. He took all offense and then it got in his head and then they couldn't use him as they had to stop using him as like the punt returner because he just and these things happen to rookies and young players. And then Kevin Burnett wanted to fight me after a game in San Diego. And that made like national news.
Oh my God.
That wasn't my fault. That was frustration of that season. And I think it was like the 2011 season. He was feeling like all the pressures of the defensive changes were on his shoulder and the defense was falling apart because of his performance. And a lot of times, and I hate to say it, but most of the players don't know my peers, but they'll know me. I represent my peers. So what everybody is writing, it's me.
You're just the face of it for them.
I'm just the face of it. Exactly. So his frustrations with the media was taken out on me. And like, that was just, I wasn't going to fight him because he's Kevin Burnett. And in fact, we've reached out and then we had to have a sit down and a powwow.
Oh gosh.
And like coming to
come to Jesus.
It was a good hour-long meeting because I mean he wasn't backing down and I wasn't backing down, even though I probably was going to back down. And I from that point, I always referred to him as Mr. Kevin Burnett as a show of respect for. I have respect for you. That doesn't mean that I can't criticize you. And I actually began to appreciate him as a player. I didn't view him as the problem with the defense, but he replaced Channing Crowder and how they treated Channing Crowder. That didn't sit well with the media, and a lot of people wrote about it. And is this guy better than Channing Crowder? And it and then somehow I got all wrapped up in it. I don't even know how I got wrapped up in it because I don't think I can't even remember that long. I probably did write something. I'll take ownership for it. But yeah.
Mary, you have been being a little world traveler and traveling. That's why you couldn't make it to our last episode with Kyle Krabs because you're over
across the
In
pond.
London. How was your trip?
Trip was amazing. I don't like how water is not as easily accessible as it is here.
Like
It's
to
like not
drink?
an yeah, it's just not, and maybe it's because I'm always drinking water, and I never realized how thirsty I was until I sat down for dinner, and then they don't
It's not a
automatically bring you water. You have to ask for
You
it.
have to request it.
It's
Yeah.
either they ask for still, and it's great. Like I love sparkling water, but it's like they give you the jug, and when the jug is out, and you're paying for the jug, even if it's still water. So then if you want more,
Mhm.
like I'm such a big water drinker that it was. But yeah, I mean, it was great. My luggage got lost the end of the trip,
Oh,
so
Oof.
and you know what? We did London, then we went Florence, which is really cool. Rome, it was like the hottest day there, and
Ugh.
it was like 102 degrees. And you know what? You have
Did
to
you
what?
did you see the Coliseum? That's
Yes.
my
So
on my bucket list. Was
I
it as
did I did a tour of the Coliseum. Like I paid for you
cool.
to go on Viator, and I paid for like a VIP tour, which was a small group, 12 people, and I loved it. I love the history of sport and entertainment, and that all started there. Like that was
you got
Mhm.
video?
yeah.
You should put together a video package and put it up on Twitter because
Yeah.
I would like that's a bucket list thing for me.
Coliseum was incredible. You know what I wasn't moved by, and I'm sorry, Jesus, if this is bad, but I wasn't moved by the
Vatican?
Sistine Chapel. I wasn't
No.
moved by the Vatican. Like I'm not an art person. I'm not like I remember we did not do a tour of the Vatican because we didn't pay for them. We just did like skip the line tickets and we walked ourselves through. But I was like walking by tours, and like some lady was like, "And look at the brush strokes of this painting," and I'm like, "I don't
Yeah.
f about your
I don't understand
bro."
that. Yeah.
Like but
Mhm.
Rome is we did it in like I did Vatican at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then we did Colosseum at 2 p.m. But the Colosseum is incredible.
So
That
cool.
is breathtaking.
So you recommend doing that little tour?
Yeah, and if you are traveling abroad, and especially to Europe, they have something called Viator, Viator, where you book everything. Like I booked a wine tour in Florence, I booked a boat day in Positano, I booked all my tickets, like Colosseum.
Nice.
Yeah.
So then, Mary, you get home
Yes.
and you
Straight
I
to the
think you
boss's
went
office. Straight to the
yes.
boss's office. Because and it's
Oh,
crazy because if you know anything about public schools, you know how long it takes to get things done. Things
Mhm.
take like there when I started at Pinecrest, there was plans, they had plans in motion to build a track at our like just a track for so the kids weren't running on a dirt path. They had a track to do their laps on. It has been 7 years and that track is still not there.
Jesus.
So when
Oh
this
my
whole
gosh.
thing happened with the Tua Foundation, which was a very humbling and incredible moment because like every single person at the coaches table lifted their paddle to
But wait, back up.
yes.
What happened in case anybody doesn't know what happened?
Oh, okay. So this all happened within a span of 24 hours. I'm on Twitter, so I get a random DM from the Tua Foundation saying, "Hey Mary, can you give us a call real quick?" And it's like 8 p.m. on a Wednesday. And I'm like, "Okay. Hi." And they're
Mhm.
like, "Hey, we want to so sorry for the late notice. Every Tua has his foundation tomorrow." And I'm like, yes, I'm aware. And they said that every year, aside from their auctions that they do, Tua likes to do a paddle raise where it's for a specific cause that everybody raises their paddle to donate to that cause. For example, in Alabama, when he was there was a bunch of girls that got into a car accident and passed away, and they raised their paddle to raise funds for the girls' funeral services and mental health
Oh my
services for their
God.
families. So then they basically, this is like 8 p.m. I'm with my mom, just did like wedding dress stuff. And they were like, we want to do the paddle raise for you. Is there anything that you would like? And I'm like,
Holy shit.
and his name's Bert. I really like the guy. He's like, we need to know because they were all sitting at the round table, like on the phone. Like, what is it that you need in your classroom that, is there
So
anything you need?
awesome.
We're funded and this. And I was like, I said, can I give you 5? So I called my principal and I said, listen, while there's a million things that I can think of that I need, but I think it needs to be something larger scale that is benefited everybody, and that is it's not just like giving, because I could think of couple of kids in my class that I've had homeless, or I had one that's homeless last year. I had one that was in and out of Nicholas Children's with going through mental health things. But you give the money to that family, and then the family leaves, and then you don't see, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no like legacy of it.
Right.
Mhm.
So we thought of our recess area. We have a couple recess
So
areas, but there's
cool.
one in particular everybody plays on. And we have like a patch of turf, then we have our playground, and then there's a big patch of like uneven turf and grass. And we have a massive school. We have 1,000 kids at our school. Like next year, there's gonna be 9 third grade classes.
Holy crap.
That is a lot.
That's a lot.
And
That's
for
so
all of those
much.
classes to be out third grade playing recess, and all the boys only want to play their soccer on the turf, that little turf, it's like, guys, take the ball to the back grass. They're like, no, it sucks. We've had a kid break their ankle there. We've had they refuse to play on that back grass area. We came up with the idea of building, because Bert kept saying like, but FYI, we need your response in like 5 minutes,
5
because
minutes.
Yeah.
and tomorrow's the foundation.
Don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Come on.
Class. I have kind of an announcement. So yesterday, as you know, as you can see by the back table, I went to the Tua Foundation. It spoke volumes to Tua, because it was Tua and his family
It's
that
so
thought of it. He truly is a kind individual, and it was interesting because I just did something with Macy's with Tua Ellis, and I interviewed him for his new line, and we had the cameras out, and he was very nervous, and I noticed that with the media, I think he's been shunned by the media a lot. So the media is not.
Shunned?
I mean, like, there's just so much negativity. He's gotten so much.
The media is very hard on him.
They're hard on
And we're
him,
not just
right?
talking Miami
No, not
Dolphins.
you.
We're
I'm
talking
saying
we're
Okay. You're talking
talking on a
national media.
national
You're
level.
talking national
not
media.
you
Okay.
guys.
Yes.
I'm saying
We
like,
treat him like he's
no, I'm talking
Yeah, on
like,
we're talking national level.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So, and it was
He's a great guy. Great, phenomenal guy. If you have anything negative to say about Tua, the problem is probably you.
yeah.
Yeah.
right.
But yes, he's totally shy about
Because and the funny thing is, after I finished my interview with him for like the Macy's thing, and it was time to do the meet and greets, the second those cameras were off and he turned to those kids, it was like you see Dad Tua. He was so wholesome, and he was like very interested in what was happening with his fans, and he wanted to get to know them, and he wanted to make that minute of their time, the best minute they had with Tua Tagovailoa. Like he wanted to be present in that moment. It wasn't like he was checking his watch, like he was there way past time. The event was supposed to end at 7. He was there till 8:30 till every fan got
Got their
their
meet and greet.
chance.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He's an amazing guy, which is why I would love to see the franchise. He's improved every year. He's gotten better every single year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he hasn't beaten an elite team. He hasn't gotten past Kansas City or Baltimore or Buffalo, in a game that matters. But like if you and that's going to the tweet that you saw me put out. This is the first time I've ever seen a franchise, outside of Chad Pennington in 2008, 2008. This is the first time I've ever seen a team like completely rally behind a quarterback. Like half the team hated Ryan Tannehill. Like the whole defense hated Ryan Tannehill. The wide receivers ran a failed coup on Ryan Tannehill to get Matt Moore to replace him. And like think about
something. Are you fall for anything?
This is in December. This is like they were like, if we're gonna make the playoffs,
insane,
when your receivers go,
insane.
and
that's a problem. That's a problem.
That's like when the Jets wore the Mike White shirts on the plane. Remember when they were loading up the plane and all of them were wearing their Mike White shirts?
And I've lived this life. I've seen so many bad quarterbacks, so many mediocre quarterbacks, so many quarterbacks that doesn't have the team behind them. Like, and I have to hear from all the disgruntled people. Like Tua, they believe in Tua. They believe in Tua. They believe, like, trust me, they watched a whole training camp without Tua, the whole offseason program without Tua doing 11 on 11s. And half those guys are like, I'm not participating. Like, I don't want to do this because it's not the same. It doesn't look the same. So for all those people who are like, oh yeah, anybody can replace him. No, that's not true. He's a very good quarterback. Is he elite? We'll find out. But
he's still so young too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he's still so young.
Join the team.
If you want somebody as the face of your organization, I think that he embodies so much that you want your face of your organization to have. Like you don't want the messy for your face. No. Like he is such the family, the aspect, the way he carries himself, the way just everything in what he embodies. He is somebody that the city of Miami can rally behind, and he's somebody that kids can look up to. Like he's like, I think he's an incredible role model. I mean, I don't know. I'm excited to see what he's got.
And then even him, like at the podium this year during pressers, like just like looking at how he's evolved, like he's a different person. Like.
Yeah.
Like,
why do you think he's different in the pressers? I don't think he's different.
For sure, when you guys were asking him about like the contract and stuff, like that was the most like I've ever seen him be like,
he was
sassy.
He was angry, and he had a point to make. And literally, what he was going to say was going to be reverberated for the next 2 months. While they continue to drag him underneath a car. Like to me, if you know you're going to do it,
just do it.
Get it done.
Why isn't it getting done, Omar? Like, why is it not getting done?
Is it between, like Joe said, is it between a 4? Maybe you were saying it on 560 today. Is it between a 4 and a 5? Is it that? Is it because the number's starting with a 4 and he wants it to start with a 5? Is it something as simple as that?
Let me give you the synopsis of what I think regarding the contract. Tua is going to be paid more money than he's ever received in his life. I think he's going to make like $1.3 million a game. Keep in mind, outside of his rookie signing bonus, that's good money. And when you extrapolate that out, because I only look at what is going in, I don't live in the fluff, fake money.
You want the real money.
I want the real money. What's going in your paycheck? Yeah. And I can tell you what everybody's making in their paycheck this year. And Tua's I think he's going to make more than Lamar Jackson this year, like in what's going in his actual paycheck. So he's in a good position, but he has no financial security because he can go out there and tear an ACL or get hip, suffer another hip injury. There's a lot of and that $150 million in guaranteed money is gone.
Yeah.
So the Dolphins know they have the leverage. Now, from Tua's standpoint, hey, I know that I'm not a finished product, but you see what all these other guys who I'm better than are getting. Why are you not offering me that? And from the Dolphins standpoint, I don't have to offer you that because I have control over you for the next 2 years. However,
I don't like that.
however, the Dolphins know they really can't put the franchise tag on them because that would prevent them from being able to do business next offseason to improve the roster. Like, if you extend Tua and you extend Tyreek, you're going to be set financially for probably the next 2 years in order to build a good contending team.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do it, you're screwed. So, and that's what that's what Tua and his camp know. The problem is the camp needs a deal that looks impressive to other quarterbacks and to other quarterback agents and can help them get more future agents because you can't take an L on Tua's
fluff
deal.
money. That's
me and Jen were saying
Adam
we think this
Schefter,
is
breaking news. Tua
Yes.
Tagovailoa
Like the Trevor Lawrence deal, and this is something that I strongly I have been trying to help people understand. The Trevor Lawrence deal is trash. I wouldn't even sign that deal. And people are parroting that out as it's like the best quarterback deal because allegedly there's $200 million in guaranteed money. No, that's not true. It's fiction. But on the real money, the real years of the deal, the real money, it's a 5-year, $132 million deal with $132 million of it guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
If you come to me as Tua and say, hey, Tua, take a 5-year, $132 million deal, and then we'll throw some fake money in the back end to make it look better.
It's only 26.4.
Right, he's not going to take it.
Yeah.
I'm not taking that.
No,
I'm not taking that. Like $132 million? Like, no. That's
I heard that it's the guaranteed money that's being the issue. It's the guaranteed money.
Yes.
So you're totally right. If they're apart by 20 million on like guaranteed money, let's just use the numbers that you said hypothetically, 150 or 170. You're going to like no one in their rational mind when push comes to shove is going to say, you know what, let me play for 23 and prove it to you. When that's the only thing that's guaranteed is what you're risking the difference of, right? Makes no sense.
And that's why they know they have that. That's why they know they have the leverage.
I totally agree with you. And Britt was going to say what we were going to say. We think this is athletes first L.
And
just
but
meaning
what?
I think it's going to be
first L.
First L.
Mm-hmm.
And all
first
we
L.
mean by that,
their first loss. Athletes first is going to have to give in.
Athletes first.
That's their first
L.
But listen, Omar.
No,
Omar.
Tua's going to end up taking the deal.
Wait. Omar, thank you so much for coming on our show. Do you have any closing thoughts?
I thank you guys ladies for inviting me. I want to encourage you to continue to push forward and continue to do it. Consistency is how you build your audience and you build your brand. You guys are doing some excellent episodes. I checked out your episode with Kyle Krabs. Keep it going. Keep doing it. Put your own flavor on it. Be interesting and quirky and unique and dad jokes. Be original and organic because there's nothing like what you ladies are doing in this space. So keep doing it.
We appreciate
Thank you, Omar.
Thanks.
Right.
Fins up, baby. Closing thoughts.
Fins up, baby. Alrighty.
Oh,
well, thank you so much.
Fins up.
Oh yeah, go Fins.
I actually saw
Go Fins.
What do you mean? I don't care.
All right. We'll see you all next time.
Fins
Thank
up.
you so much.
Class, we are here at the groundbreaking for the new flag football field donated by the Tua Foundation. As you can see behind me, things are happening and we're breaking ground, baby. Things are indeed happening. And I don't know if you can tell behind me, but there are slabs of concrete scattered throughout this field. It's uneven terrain, there's rocks everywhere, and soon, in 2 to 3 weeks, there will be a brand new flag football field. And I can't wait to bring you along this journey, but I have to, again, just share my gratitude to Tua, the Tua Foundation, and the Tagovailoa family for your love and support with the youth and kids and education and everything that I've got going on in my classroom. I just can't express how much I love you all. Thank you so much, and let's break some ground, baby.
Don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Come on, here we go. doorstep, singing a sweet song of melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry, everybody, about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about it.